Views expressed on this program do not necessarily represent those of Revive FM or its management.
Okay, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I hope everyone is well, inshallah. So, welcome to ReviveFM 94.0. My name is Saad. I will be the host today. So, I haven't done this in a while, so I'm a bit shaky, but inshallah, we can get through it. I have two very special guests with me today. I have Brother Hassan and I have Brother Abbas. Assalamu alaikum, guys.
Walaikum salam. Walaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam, mashallah. Okay, so let's just quickly go through it. So today we were discussing a few topics that we could discuss, but it was kind of there was kind of a debate. We weren't really sure to talk about what, but what we did find out was there was a common theme between all of the topics we were talking about, and that was the main thing about when we start Ramadan and when we finish Ramadan. There's a difference in our motivation, right? So it's a very broad topic, but I thought maybe today we will discuss it as well. So I think we're going to have a really good conversation about this, inshallah. But yeah, before we begin, guys, you guys want to say anything to the viewers? Say salam, say hi, anything you want to talk about?
Let's start the program.
Okay, great. Okay, straight into it. So let's begin. Just before we do start, just a very quick introduction to ourselves. So my name is Brother Saad. I work within Minhaj al-Quran. Also volunteer as well for a few of the different forums. Now, mainly today, what we want to discuss is especially to do with the youth. So we're all part of a youth organization called Minhaj Muslim Generations. The primary focus is obviously to bring the youth into Islam, teach them the true message of Islam, but in a modern way. And especially nowadays, we're doing a radio show, we're doing all this sort of stuff, and it's for the youth. So especially today, the topic that we're talking about, which is motivation, that is mainly to do with youth, and I'll tell you why, right? So when we start Ramadan, my personal experience, whenever I'm in the masjid, I don't know about you guys, jump in when you can, but whenever we're in the masjid, when we start Tarawih, it's packed. Like, regardless of the age, like the hall is packed because, in the beginning of Ramadan, people are motivated, they get the spiritual high, they come in, they're praying the Tarawih, and then they leave and they go home, Iftar. There's like a little vibe going on for Ramadan, right? But that vibe during Ramadan, it kind of dies down. And I personally think is due to a lack of motivation. I don't know about you guys, but that's why I personally think. Any opinions? Do you guys agree, disagree? What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I tend to do this a lot. In fact, every year, if I'm honest. The first the first day I'll always be there for Tarawih. Even if I've got school the next day, even if I've got an exam, I'll be there for the first day. And as Ramadan goes on, towards the end, especially whenever I've got something, even if it's really small, if I've got something to do, that'll just become an excuse for me to not come in. And towards the last 10 days, I don't think you'll see me there.
What about you?
I think it's one of those things. If you look at human nature, you're always excited about something, and then when Ramadan comes, you're always excited about the first few days. As soon as the first roza hits, because the first day you have tarawih, you're not fasting, are you? Then the second day you're fasting, so your blood sugar level drops, you're tired, then you've overeaten, then it becomes a bit more difficult. The following days, adding all of that extra fat that you put into your body, it becomes even more difficult. So I think generally, like, I try not to miss tarawih, and I try to pray all in the masjid, but I think it gets difficult as you go along and you get more and more tired. I think you need some days off. When you have the weekends, it becomes a little bit easier.
You know what I find really interesting is that we're talking about Ramadan, right? But the main thing you guys are talking about is Tarawih. So that's what I find interesting. A lot of the youth, when you tell them Tarawih, the first thing that clicks in the mind is when you tell them about Ramadan, the first thing that will click in the mind is about Tarawih. And I think this is like the biggest misconception, not misconception, but like wrong approach to Ramadan, because Ramadan isn't just about Tarawih. Obviously, Tarawih is the addition, the extra thing that we're doing. But bear in mind, there's other things that we should be doing as well. Like, for example, reading Quran, following the Hadith. We should do this stuff anyway. But because it's Ramadan and it's an opportunity, we should try to take opportunity of the fact that it's there. And bear in mind, right, this is like my approach. Sometimes we think differently because we're humans, but in my mind, I'm thinking, when we look at Jummah prayer, how many times does it happen a week? Once, right? It's a day. When we look at 5 daily prayers, we pray that every single day. When we look at Eid, there's 2 Eids in the year. When we go Hajj, it's an event, a few days in the year. So what my thinking is that Ramadan is a whole month. You know, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to, He could have made it a day, He could have made it a week, He could have made it different days within the whole year. But the point is that it's a whole month dedicated. And bear in mind, within the whole Islamic calendar, there's no other month like Ramadan, because Ramadan from start to finish, it has so many different blessings, it has so many different achievements and attributes itself. But being humans, we sometimes don't appreciate it. Like Allah has given us an opportunity, and we're kind of like, you know, "Oh, it's just Ramadan." At the beginning, we have the mentality, we're on it, we're great. But towards the middle, towards the end, we kind of forget about it. I think that's our flaw. But yeah, do you guys think there's anything, the youth especially, targeting your answers towards the youth, because you guys are young, but do you think there's anything specific that like us or the youth could do to like keep on being motivated? Like, how do we keep the motivation in the beginning of Ramadan the same throughout the whole of Ramadan? Do you guys have any like ideas or anything you've done yourself or anything?
Um, the way I see it is that when Ramadan starts, our obviously motivation levels tend to be a lot higher. We want to do everything we can, and as we go along, obviously that drops. And I think the reason why it drops is because our body's not used to it. We're not used to all of that. Even if we're more punctual in prayers, when we're not used to it throughout the year, when Ramadan comes, obviously the first few days will be, because the motivation level is high, we're going to be punctual with our prayers, we're going to be doing a lot more stuff. But as we go along, we sort of go back to our old habits just because we're not used to
But
it.
how would you fix it? That's my question. I think that's the discussion. Like, if there's anything viewers can take away from today.
No, look, the thing is, I think you're thinking of it if you take a different approach to it. Ramadan is a time where you start this. So look, for example, you're gonna read your Quran, you're gonna try to study. Reading Quran and reading namaz are the two things which are basically almost, I would say, standard that most people will
Okay,
do.
I get that.
The people, because not many people will go into learning fiqh, hadith, or go into Islamic sciences. That I don't think Ramadan is the month where people start that. Ramadan is the month that people make the intention for that. So what you need to do, first of all, before Ramadan comes, obviously now that we're in Ramadan, but generally, is plan what you want to do. Have your thing. I want to read one full Quran in Ramadan. So what does that mean? There's 30 days, one Quran a day, one spara a day, or I want to do two sparas a day. Whatever you feel that you're comfortable doing, whatever is easy for you. So that's your plan before Ramadan. Once you come into the new plan, and one thing is what it happens with me. If something doesn't go according to my plan, it's not going to my plan. I'm not doing it. It's done. I'm not doing it now. I'm not gonna my mood kharab. That's it. I'm not gonna read the Quran now. I'm done. I didn't read yesterday. I'm not gonna read today. But the thing is, one thing you have to keep in mind. One thing make it easy for you. If you were planning to read 2 Qurans a month of Ramadan, and now comes day 4, you only read like 3 sabare. For you to catch it, that means you have to read 8 sabare in one day for you to catch up to that to maintain your goal. Change your plan. This is what adapt.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. If you adapt to your plan, if you change your plan, make it easy for you. Why can't you change it? Make it easier for you. And then if you've caught up to it, or maybe I can do 2 Qurans. In the last 10 nights, I'm going to read 3 Spare a day. I'm going to take time off work. The weekends, I'll read 2, 3, 4. See, you have to adapt to it. And the thing is, the whole point of this is reading your Quran, reading your tasbihat, studying, maybe reading 1 hadith a day. Make something which is attainable. If you make something attainable, and this should be done before Ramadan, make your plan. Even if you've done it late, today will be the third Tarawih, so the third day that's starting. So even from now, you can change it. It's adapting. Just think, I didn't make it. I'm gonna wait till next year to make my plan and then make next Ramadan the best Ramadan. Make this Ramadan the best Ramadan.
There's one other thing as well, right? A lot of us are students, so we're studying.
Yeah.
Time management is a massive thing. Before we carry on, I just want to say Assalamu alaikum everyone, to any of the newcomers that have just joined us. So just to keep everyone up to date as well. You're listening to ReviveFM 94.0. My name is Brother Saad. I have Brother Hassan with me as well, and Brother Aves. And we're just having a discussion about motivation during Ramadan and the lack of, or the issues that we have with being motivated during Ramadan. So if you do want to join in the discussion, please make sure that you do that. Call us on the studio number, which is 0333 444 0940. And please join in the discussion with us. We are going to go on break in a few minutes, but I just want to say one point before we carry on. So what I was saying is that a lot of our viewers, a lot of the youth nowadays, they're students. And I think a lot of the times it's, oh, I have exams, or I can't manage my time properly, or I'm struggling to do this, I'm struggling to do that. And I think the biggest thing, right, is that we need to manage our time, because these are the same students, right?
No 14, 15-year-old ever manages their time.
This is what I'm coming on to, right? So even if we look older, the older students, or 14, 15-year-olds or whatever, they know mentally I need to do this, this, and this. And at some point for their schoolwork, they're given diaries, or they're given timetables, that sort of stuff. At some point, I'm not saying they'll do it, but at some point they will make a timetable, they will make a schedule, they will manage somehow, however, whatever works for them. And if you look at basic psychology, the number one thing that psychologists say is that manage your time, create an achievable standard goal. And they do this for school. But when it comes to like Deen and Islam and doing the little things, I think they get a bit scared and they don't use the same approach.
I don't think they do it for school. I think school does it for them. If you look, I'll give you an example. So your school is structured 5 hours, split into 2 breaks, split into 1 hour segments. That's what it's done. So school has already done that for you. So you're trained to do your learning in that 1 hour, within that hour, 5-10 minutes here and there, beginning, and you probably have a break in the middle, God knows. But let me see, like I didn't go to school, but but that's what happens. You're trained, and the school does it for you. Outside of school, now you take your revision. Why do students struggle with revision? Because it's not structured. You don't structure it, and when they do structure it, you take it to a peak. You go to perfectionist, that I'm going to spend 6 hours today on this and this.
Yeah.
And when you can't reach it, you lack your motivation goes. Everything. It's adaptability.
Yeah.
You need to adapt to it. The same point that I said
Exactly.
before. So then the same thing is, because you don't have that schedule outside of school, you need to make something, and make it very easy. And I'll say this: make something which you can do, even if you're gone behind, you can easily catch up. Make it easy for yourself. Why do you want to struggle? Once you've made it easy, once you're in a routine, then the struggle starts afterwards. If you struggle from the beginning, you're never going to do it. Think of it as if you ever go gym, you go gym, you're not going to start benching 50, 200. You're not going to put that straight away. You're going to bench just the bar itself. If you think, oh wait, I can bench more than the bar's 20 kilos anyway. You can bench more than the bar, then you add the weight on afterwards. And then you get a spot, someone who'll support you. Think of it, there's different ways that you can do this as well.
Okay, so unfortunately, we have to go on break now. But just one thing I want to say before we go on is that there are lots to talk about, and I've jotted down a few things as well. So after the break, we'll be mentioning them. But obviously, guys, this is a Revive FM show. As many of you know, if you're new here, then we have discussions here. We have some debates. We have some talk shows from different people, different backgrounds, different ethnicities. The whole point is that we want to engage you guys. We want to bring you into the community. Our main focus for this show is to bring in the youth, because I think I'm young. These guys think they're young as well. So we think we can approach the youth and hopefully they can gain something. But yeah, if you guys want to join in the conversation, please call us. The studio number is 0333 444 0940. Once again, that is 0333 444 0940. If you guys have any questions, any scenarios you want to ask us, any tips or help that you guys need, we probably aren't the best people to ask, but hopefully we can have a good discussion about it. So if you guys want to get involved, please call us. And yeah, hopefully we will see you after the break. Please stay tuned, and we will see you until iftar time, and then inshallah ta'ala we'll see you next week as well. Every Jumu'ah on a Friday we'll be here at the same time, and hopefully we can continue this discussion. But we'll see you after the break. Please don't go anywhere, guys. Grab your tea. Well, no, don't do that because we're fasting. Don't do that. But yeah, if you guys want to chill for a bit, do that, and we'll see you after the break, inshallah. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
हम सब जिंदगी गुजारने के अखराजात को पूरा करने के लिए हुकूमती मदद के हकदार हैं। तमाम मदद आपको वेबसाइट हेल्प फॉर हाउस होल्ड से मिल जाएगी। 40 से ज्यादा मदद की स्कीम्स हैं, जैसे एनर्जी बिल्स में मदद, टैक्स फ्री चाइल्ड केयर, ट्रांसपोर्ट के अखराजात, सस्ता इंटरनेट ब्रॉडबैंड, मोबाइल फोन के बिल और बहुत कुछ। अक्टूबर से मार्च तक यूके गवर्नमेंट हर घर के बिल में मजीद 400 पाउंड्स की मदद दे रही है। ज्यादातर घरों को ये पेमेंट ऑटोमेटिक होगी। अगर आप प्री पेमेंट मीटर पर हैं तो आपको वोचर मिलेंगे। gov.uk/help-for-households पर जाएं और देखें कि आप किस चीज के लिए हकदार हैं। ये आज ही सर्च करें हेल्प फॉर हाउसहोल्ड्स।
Minhaj School of Islamic Sciences provides quality Islamic education for children aged between 5 and 15 years old. As well as teaching classical Islam, including Tajweed, Fiqh, Seerah, and Aqidah, we endeavor to equip children with essential Islamic manners, morals, and values. Here at MSIS, our experienced teachers create an inspirational learning environment where we strive to cater for the needs of every child. For enrollment inquiries, inquire in person at Minhaj School of Islamic Sciences, Monday to Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. at 292-296 Romford Road, or email admin.edu_London@minhajuk.org.
Thinking about selling or letting your home? With Maxwell Estates, you don't need to look any further. Well established with over 15 years of experience, Maxwell Estates are specialists in residential sales and lettings. We manage over 200 properties in and around Northwest London, keeping our landlords and tenants updated with all the latest laws and legislations. Based in Edgware, our experienced specialist negotiators always ensure we maximize the full potential of your property. Call us now on 0208 952 0808 for a free no obligation quotation, or visit our website www.maxwellestates.co.uk for further information. Maxwell Estates, the name you can trust.
The holy month of togetherness and sharing is upon us. Bring your family together with Elephant Atta, the nation's favorite atta for over 60 years. This Ramadan, Elephant Atta is offering special discounts on medium and fine white chapati atta, available in convenient 10 and 25 kg bags. Make this Ramadan one to remember with Elephant Atta.
ReviveFM
94.0 on the radio,
on your mobile,
and online.
وأجمل منك لم تر قط عيني وأحسن منك لم تلد النساء وأجمل منك لم تر قط عيني وأحسن منك لم تلد النساء خلقت مبرأ من كل عيب كأنك قد خلقت كما تشاء خلقت مبرأ من كل عيب كأنك قد خلقت كما.
This is
ReviveFM
94.0 with the latest news from around the world.
From the Sky News Centre at 6. France's president says he's called off the King and Queen Consort's state visit to Paris on Sunday out of friendship, respect and esteem for them and the British people. Emmanuel Macron has told a news conference it would not be responsible for Charles and Camilla to go in the middle of anti-government protests. He thinks it'll be rescheduled for the summer.
What would have really not been feasible for neither the British nor for us would have been to have tried to carry on as if nothing was happening, despite what the actual situation is. So we will reorganise this for when calm returns.
Demonstrations against changes to pensions and retirement saw hundreds of police officers injured and delays at several ports. Ofsted is being accused of making a terrible mistake by refusing to pause school inspections in England. The NAHT union says the watchdog has completely underestimated the strength of feeling after a head teacher took her own life in January. Israel's Prime Minister has been greeted by crowds of pro-democracy protesters as he met Rishi Sunak in Downing Street. It's in response to Benjamin Netanyahu's plan to overhaul the judicial system, including limiting the power of courts.
We are here to protest and to make our voices heard against the corrupt Israeli Prime Minister.
He's tearing the very fabric apart of what is Israel's society.
What Benjamin Netanyahu is doing is wrong. He is destroying the Israeli democracy.
Thousands of civil servants have announced they'll continue industrial action next month. Members of the PCS union are walking out from the 11th of April over pay, pensions and job security. A 42-year-old man has been arrested following a security threat at Leeds United's Elland Road ground. The Premier League team closed it while the matter was investigated. And Everton have been referred to an independent commission over alleged breaches of the Premier League's profitability and sustainability rules. It relates to their spending last season. That's the latest. I'm Anna Bates.
This is Revive FM 94.0.
Reviving communities. Revive FM
94.0. On the radio.
on your mobile.
And online.
Okay, everyone, assalamu alaikum. Welcome back from the break. That was quite quick, actually. But yeah, alhamdulillah, we're back here in the studio, guys. So I have with me Brother Hassan, Brother Aves, and myself, Brother Saad. We're just going to go through rambling again. So before we started the show, when we start, hold on one second, let me put your mics on. Right.
Before we start, can I ask you a question?
Oh gosh, here we go.
Why do you call yourself Brother Saad?
I don't know. You know what it is, right? Let me tell you, right? So when I teach,
My name is Brother Saad. I thought it was Saad.
when you know what it is, I'm so used because I teach in the mosque as well. So I'm really used to the students calling me Brother Saad, and when they ask me, "Oh, what's your name?" I say Brother Saad, just so they get used to that. So whenever I introduce myself, I introduce it as Brother Saad. But anyways, I need to start doing that. But
Imagine in a job interview.
Thanks
What's
for
your name?
this. Thanks for this. Thanks for this. Okay, so we're in the studio, guys. We're having a conversation about motivation, and mainly to do with why our motivation dies down, or why we have a lack of motivation during Ramadan, and why it's so great at the beginning and not so great at the end. So if you guys want to join in the conversation with myself and these guys, then please call into the studio. The phone number is 0333 444 0940. We want you guys to be engaged. We want you guys to join in with the conversation. If you have any comments, if you disagree with us, if you agree with us, if you have any questions, please do that. Now, before we left for the break, we were discussing a few things, and we ended off by talking about students and how they're a bit all over the place, if I'm honest, during Ramadan, only because timings don't match up and they have to do all this extra stuff, which we should be doing anyway. But the main focus is now, before we were talking more about this world and how we can manage our time and how we can be motivated in this world. But I just want to, I think we should take more of a religious approach now. So I'll start off because I have one or two things I want to say, and you guys can jump in, inshallah. But the main thing for me, right, is I think this generation nowadays. So just to let you guys know about ages, Aves, how old are you? If you don't mind me asking.
26.
20. So Aves is 26. I'm 22, and Hassan is 18. So there's three different generations here, right? We have 26, 22, and Hassan, who is 18.
4 years gap.
4 years gap between each of them, right?
Yeah.
So that's quite a big jump if you look at the generations. Aves's generation is completely different to mine, and mine is on a different world to Hassan's. The new generation, so the generation Hassan and below, they're very, very, very different. And either it can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing, however you want to take it. But I think the one thing lacking, my personal observation, because I teach, so I think I have the right to say this, but my personal observation is that there is a lack of studying the deen out of your personal interest. So there's one thing being fed that information from your parents and your teachers, and it's one thing actually studying it yourself. And I think sometimes when you study things yourself, just out of interest, you're more likely to remember it. There's useless facts that you have in your mind. They're there because they aren't any use to you, but out of interest, you went and you tried to find out what they basically mean. And in the same way, right, sometimes when we randomly have the urge to open the Quran, look at the translation, and find out what something means, I personally think you're more likely to remember what it is, even if you don't relate to it, or if it's very random, or you kind of relate to it somewhere in the past. I think you're more likely to remember that specific thing that you weren't taught, but you actually physically went out of your way to go try find out. And it could have been triggered by multiple things. It could have been triggered by a post board, could have been triggered by a poster, by a quote you've seen on Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat, whatever it is. But for some reason, you've decided to go and look into that thing, research it yourself, and now you're motivated. So I think sometimes motivation comes from reading up on things by yourself. And this isn't me telling you guys, go start doing chapters and chapters and chapters of the Quran, just read translation, study and identify. But I think it's more so of just, here and there, just open the Quran, just try to learn about it. I think that's the approach we should take nowadays. What do you guys think?
I think you have a good approach, but just literally whilst you're talking, I'm not avoiding it. I'm just going through a group chat.
Yeah.
And in this group chat, there's, if I show it to you, basically, you have polls on WhatsApp.
Oh yeah.
You create them. So someone created a poll. We've got a group chat.
Okay.
And in that group chat, we've created a poll. Look at the poll.
I can't see that far.
It says, tick the prayers you've observed today, Friday.
Uh-huh.
So every day we've been doing this since Ramadan. So whoever's prayed the namaz, they tick. It's not to condescend anyone or it's not to demoralize anyone. It's a motivation that, you guys have done this, you guys have done this, so tick it together. So I think motivation today, especially with group chats and the way people are today and how the generation, like there's loads of different things. It's a good way to keep yourselves motivated by doing it together.
I agree with that as well. Yeah, strength in numbers.
Yeah,
definitely. Hassan, what about you? Any
Yeah,
how do you approach it?
No, I agree. It's if we're left by ourselves, we're not likely to do it.
Definitely.
We can
speak for yourself.
Not just with anything religious, not just with prayers and reading Quran. Even if I'm thinking of school right now, what we've done is, because we haven't been revising much up until now, I'll be honest.
Hold on. Great work.
And every single day we would talk amongst ourselves. We'd be like, we need to start revising. We need to sit down and we need to revise. We have this room with a massive table in the middle of the library in my school. And we're always discussing where we talk about how we're going to sit down, we're all going to revise. It doesn't happen, obviously, but the point is that when we're by ourselves, that even that thought won't come to our mind. It's when we start doing it together and we have, because obviously you're not always gonna want to revise, you're not always gonna want to pray, and when you're in a group, there's always going to be this one person that's encouraging everyone, that's motivating everyone. And when we take that aspect into praying, reading Quran, if we have someone, a different person on a different day that's encouraging everyone, then I think that's a good way to keep the momentum going.
You know, the one thing I like about what we've been discussing so far is the fact that there's like one tie between all of this, and that's your company. Like, if you really and truly think about it, right, the WhatsApp group and Hassan's friends at school and the revision and all that sort of stuff. If you surround yourself with like-minded people or someone you want to aspire to be towards, right? So, for example, let's take the example of praying, right? Because we've mentioned it anyway. But if Brother Awais is trying to pray, he is praying anyway, not for me to say, but if he wants to pray, for example, let's say for argument's sake, he wants to pray, he's going to surround himself with people that are praying. He's not going to surround himself with people that are not praying. It's not going to help him in any way, shape, or form. So I think right now, in today's day and age, this is like the whole concept of suhbah as well. The people you surround yourself with, those are the people that you're going to most likely be as. Because if you're surrounded yourself with good actions and what they do and how they behave and all that sort of stuff, it will change whatever's in you as well. Like, maybe you might be different around different people. We all do that. We all have the habit. But when you're around those group of people, you're more likely to do the things that they're doing as well. So the same way, if Hassan surrounds himself with good friends that are actually revising, then he's more likely to revise as well. But if he surrounds himself with people that aren't revising, he's not going to revise. And I'll say the same thing. I'm at university. There's 3 of us, and we are never doing the work. We're in class, but we're never doing the work. We get it done, alhamdulillah, eventually, because we know that at this point, at this certain time, 2 days before the deadline, we need to buckle down. But a month before, we won't do it because we just won't. But I think that's the thing. When you surround yourself with like-minded people, or the people you want to try to achieve or try to aim towards, then you're more likely to achieve that thing you're aiming for as well.
You're talking about uni.
Oh gosh.
In uni we had a friend, Abiman.
Okay.
We used to live together. All the chemical engineers, we used to live together. All the students. So what would happen is we all had the same class. We all had everything. One person would go to all the classes. So our company was the fact that because he done it, we'd get all the notes of him, we'll get everything of him, we'll know what to do. But when it was labs, we'd all go together. When it was anything else, so at least we had that one person that we could aspire to and look at, take the notes from him. Made it a lot easier for us. So it's about surrounding yourself with the right people as well.
Just one comment that I've gotten from our live stream today. So Brother Jibril, Assalamu alaikum, shout out to him. Hassan, this is for you. So this is directed towards you. Hassan, if you want to start revising, don't surround yourself with me. So Saad, don't surround yourself with me, who never does the work. Now that's a fair point because I'm never doing the work. Don't surround yourself with me. But yeah, guys, we have a few minutes left, and I think discussion today is going pretty well. It's a bit, here and there, and we're discussing different things, but I think that's the nature of the topic. Like, it's motivation. No one is going to be motivated the same way. Like, we're three different people, and we have three very different approaches. I personally think one thing, Abbas is thinking another thing, Hassan is thinking another thing as well. So the whole concept and the whole idea is that we're different people, so different things will work. And the same way, if something works for you, just do it. I don't. Okay, 1 second. So rewind. There's the suhbah thing, right? Surround yourself with people that are like-minded, but that shouldn't stop you from doing what works for you as well. So, for example, if you're revising for an exam, I'm going to use exams because I think everyone can relate to them. If you're revising for an exam, listen, past papers don't help me at all. I will do 10 million and nothing. It will not help me.
I've been relying on past
Yeah,
papers
see, this is what I'm saying. Hassan relies on them. I can't use them at all. They don't help me. I'm more of a read and kind of just soak it in person. So our revision techniques are completely different as well. Now, our friendship circles might be the same, our suhbah might be the same, but it shouldn't stop us from revising in the way we want. That helps us as well.
It's a big picture that you want, isn't it? The big picture needs to be the same.
Exactly.
So how you get there, it's not really an issue. It's everyone's.
Unless it's dodgy, then don't do that. But as long as it's fine, then keep going, guys. Keep going.
But it's the same concept with anything. So the motivation will come, but you just need to support yourself. So like I said, either some people timetables work, some people they don't want, they want to be more spontaneous. But I would always say you need to have whatever you want, have it in writing. But you have to just see how it goes and continue. Make it easy for yourself. Obviously, you want to struggle. The struggle is concept is there, but you can't go straight into the struggle and say I want to do. Absolutely. I want to change the world in Ramadan. You can't do it.
Just one more thing I thought of. What Brother Aver said right at the beginning about adapting. There was a study I read and it just came into my mind now. So I'm studying architecture and we have to study about how people feel, how they engage with the space and all that sort of stuff. So there's one study that I was reading and it was about positivity in a space. And the main, the crux of it basically is that when a person wants to be positive, they are willing to accept change or they're willing to accept a different atmosphere or a different feeling, right? If you take that into what Brother Vers is saying, if you're willing to adapt, if you're willing to change your mood, if you're willing to change how you achieve your goal, then I think that you're more likely to achieve that goal because you are therefore being positive. If you're being negative and I've given up, I'm not doing this anymore, I give up, blah 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 blah, whatever, then you're not gonna get there because you're not adapting. One more thing, right? When you work in a workplace or organization, there's some people that you meet, right? Let's be real. There's some people you meet and they're so difficult to work with. They're so difficult to work with, not because of the way they speak or the way they behave or what they're doing. It's because they don't adapt. Like you're struggling for a problem, right? Or you're trying to get somewhere for whoever you're working for, and they're saying no to this or no to that because they don't want to adapt because it's uncomfortable for them. And I think that's the main thing that's one thing that can help with our motivation. If we take Ramadan for an example, for us to be motivated, for us to have the motivation, keep going, then we need to make sure that we are motivated. And to do that, we need to stay positive. If you're not positive, you're not going to get anywhere. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't want to get dragged for this, but I personally think the more positive we are, the more we can try, the more we are willing to adapt for the greater good. I think that's a better point. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree or disagree. If you want to disagree, feel free. But
no, positivity has definitely big. It's easier for you to be positive about something, positive about change. If you're negative, then the negativity will always. It will always demoralize you and demotivate you. The motivation is not there.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like, oh, this ain't gonna happen. Like I said, if you're not adapting and you're going negative, like I've missed one namaz, I'm not praying the rest of my namaz. My chart's ruined. Yeah. No longer green. I don't want to do it now. But it's about adapting to it and making it easier.
Hassan, anything you want to
add? I agree with you. It is about adapting. We obviously, because we tend to work very differently. Yeah. And I'd really like your example of the workplace when we can't work with certain people. That I'm going to relate it back to school because that's what I can talk about the most. There's even when we're revising together, there's always this one person who doesn't get it, doesn't want to go through the same, is not open to new ideas.
Yeah.
When we look at, for example, a maths problem, for example.
Oh gosh.
I know you hate maths. That's
No, I actually like maths, but I just don't like doing it in school.
You know, architecture. How you're studying architecture?
Yeah, great. Thanks for that. But you know what it is in architecture, you don't actually need maths that much. You just need to know your skills. But anyway, back topic.
With maths, for example, there's the question and there's an answer. From the question to the answer, there's always different ways you can get to it. There's normally multiple ways, 2, 3 ways. Sometimes there's 10 ways to get to it. And because we all think differently, we all go through a different process, but we all get to the same answer. Now, sometimes when there's people, when you're, for example, studying together or you're working together, they don't want to look at it from a different way. They have their own way. And sometimes even that is not working with them.
It's either my way or the highway. Yeah.
My way.
That's the way Saad works. Brother Saad, sorry.
Wow. Okay, you know what it is, right? I think if you're put in that situation, it's up to you to adapt as well. Like saying that I'm willing to adapt doesn't just mean, oh, you should follow what I'm saying. It means that you should be willing to adapt to other people as well. So I think that's another approach we should take. We have 1 minute before iftar time. So Jazakallah everyone for watching today. I just really want to say thank you to all those listeners, everyone watching, sending your comments. Next time, hopefully we can get a few callers in, inshallah. And I just want to say thank you to Brother Hassan and Avais Bhai as well, that they've given up the time to actually come here, talk on behalf of their generation, because all different generations are representing. But yeah, I really want to say I appreciate you guys. You know, without your guys' support, without you guys' help, we wouldn't be able to do this. And yeah, so Revive FM, the whole concept, the whole idea is that we're trying to build a community here. We're trying to engage different people from different communities, different backgrounds, and especially this program, we want to engage the youth. Everyone is welcome, but especially the youth who kind of need a place to talk, a place to chat, a place to kind of, you know, be able to speak about certain topics or certain scenarios where they can't discuss it anywhere else, or they don't have anyone willing to listen. We're here because we're here anyway, and we want you guys to join in part of that conversation. Do you guys have anything you wanna say, or
it's time for iftar, bro?
Okay, so we're gonna go now because Abbas is getting hungry. So Jazakallah guys, thank you so much. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of you and keep you smiling. Jazakallah guys, if you want to join in, please make sure you join in next Friday at iftar, just before iftar time. So make sure you guys tune in. And you are listening to Revive FM 94.0. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
This iftari is sponsored by the Wahbeh restaurant in Gants Hill, Ilford, and Plashett Carpets in Upton Park.
اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ومولانا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم إني لك صمت وبك آمنت وعليك توكلت وعلى رزقك أفطرت. وصلى الله تعالى على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على حي على الفلاح حي على الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله في الأولين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه في الآخرين اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت سيدنا ومولانا محمد الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد.
This Iftari is sponsored by the Wahbe restaurant in Gants Hill, Ilford and Plashet Carpets in Upton Park.